to our globe. Here's the breaking news. Yes, overwhelmed by its own popularity, Amsterdam is ramping up its push to rebrand its go wild and no rules image. Drunken Brits are being told to stay home. There are moves to clamp down on cannabis, and the red lights could be about to go out on its city center brothels. New rules for sex workers come into force on April 1st, according to officials, requiring Amsterdam's sex work business to close their doors at 3 a.m. rather than 6 a.m. to combat with local authorities described as nuisance behavior by people visiting the red light district. The reduced hours come amid an ongoing campaign by the city council to move sex workers into an erotic center outside the heart of the city. Amsterdam is also introducing measures to limit waterway cruises and impose restriction on vacation rentals, as well as lobbying for an aviation tax to tackle budget flights. Several sex workers told CNN the reforms aimed at them are increasing stigma and said they believe they are being unfairly discriminated against and used as a scapegoat for the city's problem with mass tourism. A spokesperson for Amsterdam's deputy mayor, Sofian Mabarki, told CNN that the package of measures is designed to keep the city livable, arguing we now have to choose restriction instead of irresponsible growth. Falika Anna, not her real name for privacy reason, is a former sex worker who has lived in Amsterdam for 13 years and is now the chairperson of Red Light United, a union for window workers in Amsterdam's red light district. Anna says the reduced business hours will drastically reduce income for window workers, leaving many barely able to cover expenses such as window room rent and taxes to get home safety. Most of the workers start to work after 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning when the bars start to close down. Anna told CNN, now you have maybe 2 hours to make any money, which is not enough. Violet, which is an allies name due to privacy concern, is a sex worker and coordinator for the Prostitution Information Center, which is an Amsterdam-based organization that provides information and education about sex work. Violet says the reduced hours will particularly impact the transgender community, stating that many clients who come in between 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. request transgender sex worker. She also spoke about welfare concerns for all sex workers, explaining how it could impact their ability to get home safely. If you traveling home at 3 o'clock in the morning, especially if everything is closed, then that leaves you as a sex worker in greater vulnerability, Violet outlined, comparing it to 6 a.m., which they say has more social activity and transport options. Ours is usually a cash-based income, so at that time in the morning we could be traveling around with a lot of cash. If there are not many people out in the streets, this gives people who would wish to do us harm an opportunity to do so, Violet said. In the background of the new reduced hours restriction in a separate push by the city council to shut down window establishment and move sex workers into an erotic center outside the city center, the protest organized by sex workers interrupted a city council meeting on Thursday that was discussing location option for the proposed erotic center. Protesters handed Amsterdam Mayor Femke Halsema a petition signed by 266 sex workers, according to Red Light United, which called for more police in the red light district instead of earlier closure times and the move to an erotic center. Halsema has previously stated that some visitors see window workers as only a tourist attraction, arguing that an erotic center will reduce pressure on the red light district and create a place where sex workers can work safely and undisturbed. Sex workers also disagree with Red Light United, arguing that the erotic center could create an environment for more crime and shady behavior. The beneficial thing for working behind the window is that it's visible and you feel safer. In an erotic center, you don't have the same feeling because you are closed off in a building, Anna said. Violet echoed safety concern, arguing that Relocating sex workers would also remove some social protections. If you move the red light district out, you are going to get more concentrated behaviors in an area which cannot be monitored as well and is not subject to public scrutiny, Violet said. Restriction for sex worker is just one bullet point on Amsterdam rebranding attempt. As outlined, other restrictions are also said to be introduced in the red light district, such as lockout rules, alcohol sale restriction, and banning smoking on the street. So, lastly, Violet also called for more education and said she believed the campaign could backfire, saying this targeting advertising makes it sound more like a vice city. Treat this place like you would treat your own hometown or your own city, Violet urged. The end of the report, Glory.